Eins, zwei, drei, vier.
Selbstausbeutung. This is a word, it's for me as an American, I was shocked. And when I heard this word, that it even exists. Selbstausbeutung means self-exploitation. Exploitation means, of course, it's associated with Marxism and with criticism about capitalism. It's when your boss makes you work more than you're compensated for. So you're exploited not if you have to work, but if you have to work without compensation or without good enough compensation. And of course, it's a real thing. It really happens. Exploitation, but the Germans go one step further. They invented a word called self-exploitation. And that's when you work for yourself and do not compensate yourself for that work. So what you're talking about, of course, is, the inventor in the garage inventing the flying car. And no one's giving him money for doing that. He's working, in the office during the day, and he comes home and he gives his wife a peck on the cheek and plays with the kid for 5 minutes and gets a sandwich and goes into the garage and works all night on his flying car, inventing the flying car. And no one will compensate him for it. He's working for no money. He's working at a risk. He probably will not succeed. Most ventures like this, most attempts at anything, most attempts to achieve something new do not succeed. So the failure rate is very high. The chances that he will never be compensated for ruining his life, spending all the time that he could be spending, going for a walk in the park and smelling the flowers, instead he's spending in the garage. He will never be compensated for that. And that is self-exploitation. The Germans have an actual word for that. We Americans would see this guy working in his garage all night and would say, wow, that's dedication. Dedication is a positive word. Or he's a really hard worker. That's hard work. Wow, he works and it's hard. And that is for us positive. These are all positive things. Anytime a dreamer, another positive word, a dreamer sets out to invent something that was never there before, personal robot, then we think, wow, he's kind of a hero. Even if he fails, he's kind of a hero. He's admirable just for trying. But the Germans will say he's stupid for trying. He should have gotten a good job at a big company and had a contract that says you have so and so many, vacation days, and you get, the severance package, and you have a secure life, and you know exactly what's going to happen in life. You are compensated for everything you do. You will never do anything in your life that you are not properly compensated for. And the Germans will look at people who self-exploit and think they're kind of stupid. They're kind of dumb. In fact, it's even immoral to do that because you encourage other people to work without compensation. And that's the end of society as we know it. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Germans do self-exploit. There's always some guy, renting a shop and trying to sell something, and the shop will fail just like anywhere else, or it will succeed, and or he invents something, and plenty of German inventors trying to invent things. That's all self-exploitation. I'm a writer. Writers are self-exploiters by definition. The first book you write, the first novel, no one's paying for you to write the novel. You work at McDonald's and you come home and you spend all night working on a novel, trying to write your novel, and you will never be compensated for it. Probably, you will not get it published, and if you do get it published, they may never actually give you as much money as you spent in time, in your own personal time, your own personal effort. And so a writer, by definition, is always a self-exploiter. And there are plenty of writers in Germany, and that's an admirable craft. But the attitude towards stepping into the insecurity of doing something for which you may never be compensated is so negative in Germany that they invent a word. And that says a lot about Germans. It says something about their love for security. It says something about their aversion to risk. It says something about their sense of justice, which is, it is unjust if you have to do something for which you are not compensated. They have a strong sense of injustice. And of course, it is unjust. If you have this great idea, that will make the world a better place, but it fails. You cannot sell it. You cannot make it. You dedicate your life to doing it, and you never get compensated for it, and it doesn't succeed. That seems unfair to me. It seems like these guys who dedicate their lives to doing something for which they are not compensated should always be compensated. They should always have a place. Someone should come to them and say, "My God, we need more people like you. Here's some money. Here, I'm sorry that it didn't work out. Here's the money, and I'll do my best to make you successful or to compensate you for your failure." The Germans don't like the idea of unfairness. They don't like the idea that there is a risk that you may fail. There is a risk that something bad will happen. So they try to make everything as safe as possible. They try to make everything as secure as possible. They try to insure everything. They try to regulate everything so that nothing can go wrong. They invented a word that makes risk-taking and hard work without compensation, doing it on your own, so negative, so morally reprehensible that you think twice before doing it. It's like, you're walking along the cliff edge and, success is on the other side of that edge, on the other side of the cliff. It's out there somewhere. And so they put up a railing so that you don't lean over too far. Is that a bad thing? As an American, I think of these people who risk their lives, who do this hard work and this determination to do something, to achieve something that has never been achieved before, to make this great idea into a reality, to have success where success seems unlikely. I think of them as heroes. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is best to put up a railing along that cliff edge so that fewer people fall over.
1, 2, 3, 4.